froze, and someone said $180 for how many years? And is it average 6, 7 years?
5. So
okay.
it's not like 30 years, it's 5 years.
Okay.
But I'm assuming my finance department can help everyone go through this and go and see what works out well for them. So we can figure out different options that work really well for people.
Okay. Awesome.
And we are also putting together right now a medication protocol, like a package that's going to save people a lot of money, because as many people know, the medications for this are really expensive. So this package is going to be saving people a lot of money, and that should be finalized really soon.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I think each time I did it, it was between $5,000 and $6,000, the medication. And
right.
then
So one of the major benefits of doing this when you're younger and when you're healthier, younger, healthier women with more eggs need to do very little, okay, in terms of medication. The older you get, the less eggs you have, the more amount of medication you have to do.
Oh, I guess I didn't think of it that way. That makes so much sense.
So very fertile women just need a little bit of the injections, and poof, it just pops, and the ovary starts to grow, and there's lots of eggs coming along. It's completely the opposite. If you have very low egg reserve, we have to give you a lot of medicine to try to get anything.
Yeah, so that's why I was, And then it was funny, well, not funny, but it was the second time I felt like it was easier, but then we got less eggs, but then also I got more nauseous the second time. Do you notice with a lot of patients that they have different experiences?
Yeah, I do, because your body's not always the exact same thing. So now with COVID, I actually go home and have nothing else to do, so I go for a jog. I've never felt so healthy and lost weight and feel really good. So it's a little different than like 2 months ago when I was going out to dinner every night after work and having a drink here and there. Makes a big difference in your life. It really depends on where you are in your life with this whole thing. And I do think that if you're really healthy and doing well, you got good control, but every single cycle, people will respond very differently.
Right. Now, I know another thing that you and I have talked about, which, I try to cut back on here and there, but here we are in, quarantine. So I definitely smoke my weed, as we've seen on Shaws of Sunset this year, Gigi's fertility journey. And she just had her baby yesterday. Congratulations.
Wow.
But she had a miscarriage and then got right back to smoking weed, but then got pregnant again. And there's things that I've read that I get mixed reviews that say that marijuana does affect fertility, but like what is, I mean, as a doctor, but then as my friend, what are your answers?
So we talk as doctor, and then we talk as friends also.
Yes.
And then I yell sometimes, but I'm usually very nice. So as a physician, I got to tell you, there's a lot of research out there that has shown that the use of drugs and marijuana affect egg quality and sperm quality in a very negative way. Unfortunately for women, the reversal of going back to good eggs, those eggs are there. They've been there with you, and you're not making new eggs. For sperm quality, if you stop using it, about 3 months from now, you're going to have a lot of new sperm, and that sperm is going to do really, really well. Again, and it has the opportunity of coming back with fresh new sperm. I think for anyone that has fertility and their future fertility on their mind, it's probably a good idea to try to be as healthy as possible and not really go down that path.
Yeah.
I just
try
to
off
be
the weed
as honest as possible. So I just try to pick up other hobbies that are going to be just as good. I wish I could say it's perfectly fine, but I think it's just best to be healthiest. Again, it's 3 months for men to make new sperm, but women do not make new eggs, and those eggs are with them the entire time.
Do you think that, because I mean, I haven't been on birth control for the last few months just because I was getting ready to do another round. So I'll be off it the longest I've been off it before an egg freezing cycle. Do you think A, that'll make a difference? And B, do you think that, I know it's not necessarily that I was on birth control for so long that I had low AMH levels. Do you think it could be from the amount of weed I used to smoke?
So I think that people's AMH levels and their levels of eggs probably have to do with a genetic reason, the most common reason.
Okay.
With that being said, if you abuse a lot of drugs and alcohol and really harm your body a lot, it's definitely going to affect everything, including your eggs.
Yeah.
So I think for people that have low egg reserves, being off of birth control for a short bit before starting will probably allow their ovary to come back to life and let their ovary do well, okay? Versus being on a birth control for like 15 years straight and wanting to go straight into this could be a little bit of a problem.
Gotcha.
And there's supplements that we recommend for people to take. So there's different things that we tell people to take. I put most of my patients on really, really good prenatal vitamins. I put them on omega-3s. I make sure that they're mercury-free. For patients that have low egg reserves and are trying to hold on to their eggs, CoQ10 or Coenzyme Q10. And all of this is listed, by the way, on my Instagram page, so you can find them there. But CoQ10 is a really good antioxidant that slows down the aging of your eggs and all the cells of your body. So that's also great. And for some people with really low egg reserves, we also talk about DHEA, which is another hormone that converts to estrogen in the body and can really help in that way as well.
So that's the only one that you told me long-term not to take, but I would start up again probably closer to my cycle.
I think that right now would be a great time to start it because DHEA does have some long-term effects, and being on it for a really long time before your egg retrieval cycle can have side effects like increasing your blood pressure, some acne, and other things that, you know, people would prefer not to have.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm doing the CoQ10, the prenatals, and the DHA still every day. But I'll have to call the pharmacy and get back on the DHEA as well.
Yes, the DHA as well. But I just want to put it out there for people. Jumping on all these supplements without knowing exactly what your doctor recommends for you, please don't do it. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do. I did want to say that right now, we have opened the doors to our office. We are letting small groups of people in. We are letting small amounts of patients start up. We're doing tons of consultations by phone to allow people to get their consultation and discussions with a doctor, all done from the privacy of their home and not having to leave the house and social distancing. If you do come into the office, we're very careful to make sure that everything that needs to be done is done correctly. To help people out. So we're doing things in a very, very safe way right now, and I feel confident that we're doing it safe enough to be able to move forward with anyone that needs to do anything.
Sorry, I need to charge my phone, and you literally just walked in to do the same thing. Why do we only have one charger? Here, just let me use this while we're finishing, and then, sorry. We have more out there.
I'll go get it.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to think what other questions I had.
Should we take a couple questions from so many things coming through that I can't even keep up? So IVF success rates for our office. My clinic is Southern California Reproductive Center. We're located in the heart of Beverly Hills. We have affiliations with Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and also UCLA Medical Center. Our success rates for 2019 ranged between 76% to 84.4% for a genetically tested embryo before we put it back into people. I think that's one of the highest success rates in the country, and we're really proud of it. We run our IVF lab meticulously, so make sure that people do incredibly well with their results. So it's an average of about 80% going to live birth.
To answer Abe Gers, I'm on Wellbutrin daily. So I would ask your doctor, but I know there are certain anti-anxieties, antidepressants that are okay because that's what I'm on. And someone else asked what you think a good age is.
So someone said is 38 too old? Absolutely not. I mean, for people that watch reality TV shows, they've seen some of my patients that froze their eggs at 30, 43, almost 44.
Yeah.
Used them when they were like 46 and had a beautiful baby at 47. So it depends. You've got to talk to your doctor without doing a consultation, blood tests, and doing all of these things. You got to be sure and see if you're a good candidate to do this. I have a motto. It's better to have one frozen egg than no frozen eggs. So it's probably better to do that. The next question that it said is PCOS patient have a problem with egg freezing? No, as long as you know that with PCOS, there's sometimes a smaller number of good quality eggs, but you make a lot of eggs to compensate for that. That's the downside. So PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, unfortunately, it kind of brings that down a little bit, the quality of the eggs. And success rates with PCOS patients also can be very, very good.
Lori wants to know, why do so many women have fertility issues these days and have so many miscarries?
So all of our moms were having kids when they were in their 20s. My mom had my sister and I when she was 22 and 24. And now people are looking and starting families at much, much older ages. And unfortunately, that's the number one reason that we have problems, is because women are starting this entire process much, much older.
Mm-hmm.
Scheana, while I'm answering them, you can pick the questions you feel like are good ones.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
going so fast that I can't read and answer.
Yeah, I'm pausing on the ones. Jaw Baby 15, I just want to say my heart is out there with you. Oh my God. Said, I've been doing IVF for 3 years now, 3 miscarriages, 4 transfers, and 2 retrievals. Only have PCOS. What else can I do?
There's a lot of things you can do. And we have something here at our clinic. If you have your medical records and you're able to send them in, your consultation is free. So we give second opinions for people that have medical records for free. And we have a lot of people from all over the country that somehow get themselves here. I want to make sure that people are doing genetic testing on their embryos. People are doing IVF in a reputable clinic with an excellent lab. They're doing all the correct medications for someone with PCOS or with bad quality eggs that can help. And we have people that come from all over the country that failed IVF in different places and come to us and have had success in their first cycle. And if I think that you're not going to do well and you need to move on to something like an egg donor, I'm the first person to have that discussion with people.
A lot of people are asking about the average cost and if your clinic accepts insurance.
If you have fertility coverage that covers egg freezing or IVF, 99% chances that we take it. So very unlikely that if you have the coverage, we don't take it. The cost can vary. For egg freezing, it's around $8,000, a little up and down. And for IVF, it's different because there's a lot of different things that come with IVF. Are you doing genetic testing? Are you using our special incubators? Are you having the sperm injected into the egg? All of these things make a very, very big difference on how people do and what the cost is going to be. But we have financing options for every aspect of this. And my teams here at the office, there hasn't been anyone that they haven't been able to help get financing.
I've seen a lot of comments about tubal ligation. I don't even know what that is, but a lot of people.
So that's when you cut your tubes.
Oh,
so
okay.
Tubal ligation is when you've cut your tubes. And to be very honest, if you cut your tubes, you can still get pregnant. Because when we do IVF, we go get the eggs out of the ovaries. And when we're getting them out of the ovaries, we don't need your fallopian tubes anymore. So I have patients that call all the time. I had 3 kids with my previous partner, and then we got divorced, and I thought I was done having kids. I met Mr. Right again, and I'm ready to have another child again. So that's a perfect patient to do IVF with. We usually don't recommend the tubal reversals because they don't go that well.
A lot more people maybe just joining in are asking about birth control, if being on it for a long time, it affects fertility or not.
So being on birth control for long periods and short periods of time do not really affect your fertility. If I have patients that come in saying that they're terrified or they're really happy that they were on birth control for 20 years before they showed up here, being on birth control does not keep your eggs. You still lose them every month, even if you're not ovulating. So it does not keep your eggs. Just want people to know that. And being on birth control in no way, so it doesn't protect, but it doesn't harm you either. So if you're going to have good fertility or poor fertility, being on birth control keeps you from getting pregnant, but does not do anything more than that.
Some comments, I guess we kind of went over the supplements a little fast. Can you explain a little more about what DHEA is?
I will make sure to put the supplement recommendations on my Instagram page, and people can go up and see them without making errors on it. And I'm happy for anyone that chooses to do a consultation with me to go over all the supplements in major detail with them.
A lot of these stories are so sad. So many miscarriages.
So if you're having that many miscarriages, you have to see a specialist to go over why you're having those miscarriages. There's lots and lots of reasons why people have miscarriages, and the workup for miscarriages is rather detailed. There's a lot to do, but it's also the category of patients that most likely we figure it out and can get pregnant. And yes, you can get pregnant with one ovary. As long as your one ovary is making eggs, absolutely.
I have a diminished ovary and I made eggs, so.
There's a lot of people that have one ovary, but they're still healthy, and the ovary was removed maybe for a cyst or for another reason, that still do very, very well. Very well. I love, I just love these positivities. Love you, girl. I mean, I love it when people send in positive things. And honestly, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Exactly. Like,
that.
No one's forcing you to watch this.
Coming through. I want to say something about you, Scheana. So before I got to meet you, and I didn't even know who you were when you came in, I'm so lucky to have gotten to know you, because I find you to be such an unbelievable person. You are strong, you are smart, you're intelligent, and I wish that people on TV could see the side of you that I've seen, that I've learned so much about, because I think you're so proactive, you're such a good woman, you're such a good-hearted person, and have done so much to be open about your fertility with people, teaching them. I love the poses that you do on your bed when you're doing the Instagram lives.
I'm like, I gotta
so
stay plugged in, my phone's dying. People told me to take the filter off.
You've got a solid mom, and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And I really look up to the fact that you've done so much to bring awareness about this topic to people. You're lucky that you have such a following of people that really look up to you.
Yeah.
And you're doing such a smart thing and smart decisions. But I'm sorry, hopefully, I just wanted to get that in there, but I wanted to go back to any other questions.